Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome back to the channel and to the Sunday chat. This is probably the longest break I've ever had, apart from the last time I went away from home, which was a very long time ago. Yes, it's been a while. I had to work out which way up the camera went because I'd forgotten. But yes, nothing much has changed, not out here. As far as the holiday period, as far as the Christmas went, it all went very smoothly. The travelling that I had to do all went fine, no hiccups. Hannah enjoyed her food and everything down here and the quiet time. Not having to work, that's always good. The meet up with my son and his family went fine. The beach cafe, well, it's a restaurant nowadays, you can't really call it a cafe, it's gone up market a bit, and so have the prices. Yeah, they have a section that they don't always open, depends how busy they are, but they were anticipating a lot of people, and quite a few people had booked, like we did. Because we got into the area they opened up first, we got the comfy seat. We got a corner unit with soft seating and everything, as opposed to the sort of stalls with the high tables, you know, little round things perched everywhere. So we got a nice comfy corner, which was good. And lots of people came in. The whole area is dogs, basically. Luckily the dogs are banned, you know, later. As spring progresses, the dogs are not allowed on the beach. It's where the kids play, in the sand, you know. They don't want dogs pissing and other stuff all over the place. It's not on. But basically, this time of year it's dog walkers' paradise, basically, and lots of people piled in to have a coffee or whatever with a dog and got escorted out. You don't have dogs here. It's a food place. Don't want dogs all around the blinking place when people are eating. Bad enough having to put up with the kids. Anyway, it all went off well. We had one hiccup. Again, Hannah saved the day. It was me being stupid, basically. Because I don't use the main oven, except on Christmas Day, to do the Christmas Day. I don't use my oven at all. I use the halogen oven and the microwave. So basically it got turned off at the wall, you know, so there's no power on. So we turned it on and nothing worked. You know, put it onto fan oven, set the thermostat, nothing. Dead as a door now. I thought, well, this is going to be a good Christmas, isn't it, if the oven doesn't work. We'll have to do everything in the halogen oven and the microwave, and that, you know, would have taken all day. And Hannah just came up and she said, I wonder if it's that. There was a function button that when the power's been off and the power comes back on, it automatically sets to set the clock. So the function was on do the clock. And Hannah just pressed the little button and it came on to let's have the oven on function, and it all fired up. Yeah, but for a few minutes there I was a bit worried, shall we say. But that was me just, it's the first time I turned it off at the wall for a long period of time because you don't need it, and I get fed up with the clock either flashing or being wrong. And I can't be bothered to put it right because although it's a function, it's not that easy. So anyway, we got the oven working and everything went okay. Yes, so we had leisurely food. I mean, our Christmas breakfast, which is often a brunch, ended up virtually lunchtime. I think it was gone 12 by the time we sat down and ate that. It didn't matter. You know, Hannah takes advantage of having a bit of a lie-in when she's down here because she doesn't have to get up for work. So that's good. Catch her up on a bit of sleep. And look like, well, I don't know what it looked like. Something on that new growth. Yes, so it all went fine. Christmas dinner was fine. You spend most of the afternoon getting it ready and 10 minutes eating it. And then plonk yourself in a comfy chair and can't move for 2 hours. Yeah, marvellous. I had some nice wine. Hannah finished up most of the bubbly that we had. She doesn't drink much at all nowadays, and but she likes the Bucks Fizz, the pretend bubbly with fresh orange juice. She likes that, so she although I had a couple of glasses of that Christmas morning, she finished off most of that while I had the red wine. So it all went well, and it's over and done for another year. And sometimes at this time of year, you know, at the tail end of it, I sort of think, thank goodness, because it is a lot of fuss, isn't it, just for a roast dinner. But we had some nice quiet times, had some nice conversations and chats about things and stuff. So yeah, it went well. No hiccups, that's the important thing. All the journeys and everything went fine, and yeah, it all was good. Now out here, I'm looking forward to a change round. I am going to move stuff round, and as I do it, I'm going to take advantage of things being away from the wall and give the place a clean. It normally gets done once a year. I might wait till Hannah comes down and invite her to give me a hand, and if she doesn't fancy that, then I can still do it myself. It's still midwinter, so for me there's not a lot of point in doing it yet. I'm doing it for the spring, when the humidity in here goes up naturally. I even get the humidifier out, warmer temperatures and everything, so that, you know, it can wait for a bit yet, but it's planned, it's on the cards. And when I do that, I plan to have a tidy up, in as much we're starting to get a lot of clutter in here. There's a lot of dead pots. By dead pots I mean pots that have had stuff taken out of them and not been washed and not put down in the shed where they should be. So I've got a lot of clutter. There's a lot of stuff needs, well, some stuff needs chucking away. And I did notice last time I needed to use it, I'm nearly out of the rubbing alcohol, so I need to get some more of that. As obviously as we head towards spring, then the repotting and potentially putting some things on mounts or remounting stuff that's on mounts, all that stuff starts coming into its own. And we'll have cymbidiums to repot later in the year. They're certainly not urgent. A lot of them will be in flower at the times when other types of orchids are getting repotted. So they won't be getting repotted when they're in flower. We'll wait and do them whenever that finishes. So I was just looking around to see how the scale is doing, and it's going down. I mean, each time I water the cymbidiums, you know, any that's under my nose at the time, I rub them off. They all tend to be dead. You know, they come off incredibly easy. It's just a matter of removing them, I think. I don't seem to come across any live ones. And in addition to that, I don't seem to find them spreading. You know, I don't seem to find, you know, a couple of leaves that are now covered in scale that weren't before. So I don't think they are alive. I think the sprays have done the job. But I would like to get them off one day. We shall see. Hard work. What else out here? Nothing much really. I mean, everything is in a very slow state, despite having quite a bit in bloom. I'm certainly pleased with the two Miltoniopsis. They've put on a nice show. And the Nellie Isla, the red velvet, that's looking good. So, you know, some good looking stuff around. The Jamie Red Cymbidium with whatever it is, 8 or 9 spikes, that's going to be in bloom soon. That's the one with the worst scale. So next time I get that out to water it, I think I might bite the bullet and take time, actually get the cotton buds and the alcohol and have a good go at it and see if I can get the worst of them off. But they are just falling off, you know, as I touch them, they just fall off. Unfortunately, they have left marks in places which won't go away, obviously. It's a shame. But the scale came in from outside. I don't think they will ever go outside again, quite honestly, because of the problem with bugs, slugs and snails, and and I've got scale in here now that I never had. This is a different type of scale to the other stuff that I've spent nearly 10 years trying to get rid of, which is the Poise de Val scale. That is difficult. Whereas this stuff dies relatively easily. It just doesn't fall off. This is the soft brown scale. And it came in from outside, and the mealy bugs that I've got, they're not bad in here. I can't get rid of them on the Phalaenopsis in the kitchen, but I keep on top of them. As long as I can keep on top of them, it's not a big deal, I don't want them getting out of hand out here though. And out here they are very, very thin on the ground, and I know exactly how they got here. They didn't come in from outside, they came in on new plants from a specific source. And again, if that source has got them in their grow spaces, then they're going to be possibly in the media, even if they've treated the plants. But again, they are, although they're easy to kill, they're not that easy to totally eradicate, especially on Phalaenopsis, because the leaves are not very absorbent. I mean, you get things like oncidiums and a lot of dendrobiums and things. If you spray them, the systemic goes into the plant easily. It's readily absorbed. But with Phalaenopsis, it's not. It tends to sit on the leaves. It doesn't tend to soak in, and it often evaporates before it gets a chance to soak in as a consequence. So you don't get so much of the systemic element into the plant. Now, my systemic that I use is a double whammy, because it's actually a contact killer. So providing the plants get a really thorough spray into all the nooks and crannies, you should kill everything that's currently in existence, but it won't kill the eggs until they hatch. And then if the systemic function isn't working as well as it should, then those eggs get going again. So you're difficult to get rid of, quite difficult. They're a flipping nuisance. Go and live somewhere else. Go and live outside where you should be. And then all through the winter months like now, you can feed the birds. I watch the little birds going along up and down the fence crevices, and round the windows they go. They're just looking for every little bug and insect. And they do a grand job. They meticulously go over my deciduous bonsai, because the leaves are all off now, or most of them. The hornbeam and the beech hold their leaves, they go brown, and then they stay there till the new green leaves grow. And the green leaves, as the buds expand, they push the old leaves off. So it gives them some sort of winter protection. But yeah, the little birds go all over those, pecking around. So that's good. That does no harm at all. So yeah. Now, stuff out in the garden. We're having a dry spell with breezes. That means stuff is drying out. So I'm hoping, possibly tomorrow, if it doesn't rain, to get the leaf blower out and have a good go at removing all the oak leaves in the garden. Certainly the planted area over here, I can imagine, I can't say for definite, as soon as I get those leaves out of the way, there'll be things like snowdrops starting to show through. I've already got some daffodils and some Spanish bluebells poking up. They're about 6 inches tall. So there's some things out there starting to grow. But if they're buried in under the leaves and they can't see the light, they don't get going. And certainly my worry is I threw a lot of seeds in that area to try and get new plants this year. They won't grow, not buried under those leaves, because they can't see the light of day. So yeah, I need to get rid of the leaves, and hopefully those seeds have managed to get at least into crevices within the soil, otherwise the leaf blower will blast them off. Can't wait. Anyway, so we've got some work to do outside, and once all the leaves are out of the way, then we may be able to get that last bit of that hedge done, because we've done somewhere between a third and a half, and we've got that last section to do, because it's overhanging quite badly, because it didn't get done at all last year. It was left till this year, then it didn't get done again, and it will soon be next year, won't it? Yeah, we're nearly there. So we say bye-bye to 2025, because this is certainly the last Sunday chat of the year. And I suppose what I might do on New Year's Eve is actually do a summary of how I think this whole year has gone. New genus that I've taken on, how have they done? You know, some of the plants that I've lost, why I think that might have happened and how I can prevent it in the future. All those sorts of things I could put together as whatever the last day of the year is, either Tuesday or Wednesday, and do that for the close of the year, the final video for the year. So that'll save me thinking of something to do as well. I've just got to try and remember all the things that have gone on this year, and the things that have done well, you know, the things that have shone out above others. So yeah, we'll have a go at that, I think. That'll be good. But yeah, out here the workload is down, as I keep saying, and it's going to stay down for some time yet. So don't expect lots of repotting and stuff like that, not for a bit yet. Quite honestly, the next month and a half, pushing 2 months, is a dull time of year in the orchid world. Not for flowers necessarily. Blooms, you know, certainly on the cymbidiums will be kicking in as we go through that period. But, and some other stuff, there's still buds coming. The noblies have all got buds on, they'll be pushing on. So, as far as blooming is concerned, we will have blooms, yes. But workload goes down to virtually nothing. And the growth is down to virtually nothing, so the watering and feeding is dropped right off. So these 6 to 8 weeks coming up now, maybe towards 10 weeks here, because I don't get that early sun in the year, is a very slow period, because nothing much is moving. That means I don't have to get busy yet, and just need to think and plan about what will be done at the right time. And then as the day length gets, the amount of daylight increases, the plants will start to respond. And they'll only do that better, well, they'll do that better if the day temperatures start to go up a bit as well. Now, because I don't get the sun on the roof till, I think it's about the end of April, something like that, I don't get the brighter light. I get longer amounts of daylight, but it doesn't get much brighter because this whole thing faces north, doesn't get any sun. But I can start reacting to the amount of daylight by increasing my daytime temperatures, which is not that easy to do without spending lots of money, because obviously this heater down here is a very costly item. Now at the moment we're going through quite a cold snap. Daytime temperatures are low, nighttime temperatures are down near freezing, and unless I want the house freezing cold, then this door stays shut at night, and therefore this heater is keeping it at my winter minimum, and it's costing quite a lot of money. So unless we get a mild spell, it's going to be difficult for me to get daytime temperatures up without using that. And I'm very reluctant to do it because of the cost. So the only other way I can get the daytime temperatures up is to open this door more and use the heat drifting in from the central heating in the house, which is still an expense, but nowhere near as much as this thing kicking in and out all day long. Bad enough with it going during the night, but to actually heat this place out here totally using that would be a silly amount of money. I haven't got it, so it can't be done. So yes, we'll try and raise the daytime temperatures when we can. But as I said, not for at least 6 weeks, and probably 8, maybe even 10, because the amount of daylight's still too short for the plants to start reacting. So it's all in hand, but like I say, it's quite a long period to wait, you know, quite a long period to anticipate things that should get better. So I've just seen a spike that I didn't realise was butted up against. It's one of the cascades, and it's got a cascade spike that's probably gone a bit too far to actually stake. What would it be then? It's a very pale coloured one. I think that's Pumillo. I don't know. But anyway, the spike was butted up against this big pot here because, you know, it's grown dramatically since these were last watered. These haven't been watered for a while. They'll get done tomorrow. They're due. I could do them today. I could have done them 2 days ago, but they're not using much water this time of year. They're putting their energy into spikes, not new growths, and as a consequence, they will use reserves in the nice big fat bulbs to produce those spikes if they don't get any aid, any help from me coming up through the roots. So they would still produce those spikes. There's still enough energy in the plant to do that, but obviously you're depleting that energy if you don't give them a helping hand, shall we say. So we will do that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow's job. Because it's my day off tomorrow, being Monday, and traditionally I don't film on Monday. One thing I will have a look round at, I'll check the calendar, it's the 29th today, so 30th, 31st. Yeah, 31st is Tuesday, so if I'm going to do a blast from the past, that's normally Tuesday's video. I'll do it Wednesday, if I've got to find one yet. I haven't even looked. I've treated it as a proper break. I haven't even given this a thought out here. I've got all my watering up to scratch, you know, before the Christmas break. So I did the, I watered my mount and my Phalaenopsis Christmas morning while Hannah was still in bed. I've got those out of the way, but I haven't done much else, I must admit. Hannah commented on the Deesers looking good, and they are. Generally speaking, they're doing okay. So I actually changed the water on those on Christmas morning as well, while I had water out to do the mounts and stuff. So yes, yeah. So we won't delve into the world affairs that's going on at the moment. All I will say is that you've got a lot of people want peace in a certain country. They want it all to stop. And it's blatantly obvious to everybody but the most stupid amongst us that one side in that war doesn't want to stop and doesn't want it to end. When you send 500 drones and missiles into a city, into a country on Boxing Day, you don't want peace. You just want to keep grabbing land and killing people. That's what you want to do. And everybody will huff and puff and round about like that. But if that particular individual doesn't want to stop, then he won't stop. And you can huff and puff as much as you like. Because what are the alternatives? And that alternative is the only thing that person would understand. So there's your choice. It's a harsh choice. And it won't happen because everybody's too chicken, I think. People are just too chicken to go ahead and do it. Just bite the bullet, excuse the pun, and just do it. Push the buggers back where they started from. And make it such that if you poke your nose over the line again, we'll cut it off. It's the only language that individual understands. But that won't happen. Not without some serious encroachments in other places, perhaps. But when you get somebody with that sort of attitude and that frame of mind, they're unstoppable. As long as they've got the money to carry on. Anyway, there's still lots of people dying in that arena on both sides. On one side nobody seems to care, including the person that's putting them there, and on the other side the whole world cares, but doesn't seem prepared to do the ultimate thing to stop it. So it will carry on. There's lots of huffing and puffing going on today and tomorrow, I think. Big meetings and shaking hands and yes, we support you and this, that and the other. Yeah, well, can you bring all your planes in and all your soldiers and help push them back? Ooh, ooh. Yeah. Wimps. Won't do it. Won't do it. Mind you could start World War III. There's always that. Maybe that's what it's going to take. Food for thought. Yes, this country is planning, the military are going to do something that, where does it happen? I think it happens in Australia, I'm not sure. Certainly somewhere it happens already and it's relatively successful. The youth of the country have a gap year. They're calling it a gap year. When you can join the military to see what it's all about, learn a trade perhaps, or a skill, or both, for a year, without signing up for the long-term thing. Because I think if you join the military, I think you have to sign on for quite a few years. But you can do it for a year without that contractual obligation. They're calling it a gap year. Basically, because I think somebody's having second thoughts that, you know, we haven't got enough military. We keep huffing and puffing and saying we're going to support you to the end, we're going to do this. Who's this we? They've been cutting back on all our military expenditure and personnel and, you know, bits and pieces for donkey's years, and they've suddenly realised how low it's all got. And that's not just this country, lots of others as well. Yes, so it'd be nice if we didn't have to spend any money on all that sort of stuff, wouldn't it? Then we could spend it on sorting out food and sorting out the climate problems, issues, and, you know, making better roads, and, you know, we could spend it on so much nicer things. But it just means that people need to keep their noses in their own country and mind their own bloody business. That's all it needs. And then you don't need all this weaponry and defence and you know, it's the same as if there was no crime. If crime stopped, think how much you would save on car manufacturing. Because you wouldn't need all the security and all the locks and all the gubbins that go with trying to keep a car secure. Same with a house. Yeah? All the locks and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people out of work. But yeah, you know, if there was no crime, think how much money could be saved that is put into, you know, if there was no crime, do we need a police force? Well, yeah, we'd have to have some. Somebody's got to direct the traffic when there's been an accident. And they're not even very good at that, are they? You know, you can always tell when there's been an accident and the police have arrived and put some cones out and started doing all this and everything, because it just all grinds to a halt. It was working fine till they got there. People taking it in turns and going very careful and everything. I'm sure they do their best. I'm sure they do their best. Too many rules and regulations. I mean, if you think there's a silly rule that if a policeman is patrolling in a park and a child falls in the lake, they're not allowed to help. Now, who decided that? Because I got a job to swim. I'm a lousy swimmer. I can go about 10 yards and that's it. That's me done. And I certainly haven't tried it since I had my dodgy ticker. I probably wouldn't even make 10 yards now. But you know, a lot of those policemen are dads. You know, they're going to watch a kid drown because their rules and regulations. Somebody's health and safety has said no. If you enter the water, you endanger yourself. and then you're no good to help, are you? Well, you're no good to help stood on the bank either. Just get the kit off and just tell your mate, I've signed off for the day, okay? I'm not at work anymore, and then help. But yeah, some of the daft stuff like that. It's like the boats coming over from France that everybody's up in the air about, you know. There's one bit of film where the police took their heavy kit off, you know, all their stab vests and all the flipping gubbins they have to carry around. They must be really strong just to be able to carry the kit. And they went in and slashed the boat. So everybody had to get off the boat and come back to shore. They've only done it once because they got told off. Because they're endangering themselves. And yet it worked. It actually worked. So the witnesses and everybody saw what could work. Mind you, they have to be there. They keep saying our government have come up with some crazy schemes to stop the illegal migration across the channel. And none of them have worked. It was all huff and puff and bluster to get elected. And then they tried, we're going to smash the gangs. They get these lovely headline phrases, don't they? We're going to smash the gangs. No, you're not. You've been trying to smash the gangs in our own country for the drug runners and all that sort of stuff for the last 40 years. And you haven't made a dent in it. So what makes you think you're going to smash those gangs then? And if you smash one, 2 others will pop up next week. Useless, useless people. They don't live in the real world. They don't understand the underworld, which understands them very well. Right, so going on out here, not a lot. My hibiki looks dead, and it's certainly not happy, but I don't think it is dead. Now I'm hoping, given the more daylight and perhaps a bit more heat in here, it might come back to life and push some new growth out of the base. I'm hoping that my assumption that it did a massive amount of growth all at the same time, and all of those growths got to the point where they were flowering size at the same time. We had a mass of flowers. It is a semi-deciduous plant, and eventually the canes become deciduous and all the leaves drop. And because of the way this one has grown, I think that's what's happened, is all the leaves have dropped. The canes have become deciduous. They just happen to have done it all at the same time. But there's still green on it. Not a lot, but there is still some green on it. But it's definitely not happy. And I have cut off some rotten canes that have rotted down to the base. So it's getting very little water at the moment. It hasn't been repotted for quite a long time, so if I can see some signs of life on it, then we'll give it a repot and tidy it up a bit and see if it will recover. It's still got some blooms on it, still got some buds that haven't opened, but so not dead yet, but it flipping looks like it's not far off. Never mind, never mind. I've had, I think that's my 4th, it might even be my 5th, and they've all done the same thing. They've all come into bloom, bloomed for a really long time, you know, heading up towards 6 months worth of blooming, and then plant dies. It's almost as though it blooms itself to exhaustion. It could be that one of the, I think it's a primary cross hibiki, it could be that one of the parents is a short-lived orchid. They do exist where in the wild they don't live long, but they're very prolific at producing new plants, whereas some other orchids are not very good at producing new plants. The seed disperses, and if it doesn't fall in exactly the right conditions, then the new plant doesn't thrive. It either doesn't germinate or it doesn't make it. So they're very poor at producing new plants. But some are very good at it. And it could be that they're also short-lived. That's the way they've evolved, you know. So it could be that one of the parents, or possibly both, are short-lived in the wild. And, you know, we artificially push them into a state where they bloom their heads off and then they keel over. And it's a natural thing. If you think, when would the seed be produced? After a mass blooming. with pollination obviously. They don't get pollinated, you know. We try not to pollinate them because the blooms collapse. We don't want the seed necessarily. So yeah, maybe it's done that. I've got one Masdevallia that's dropping leaves faster than it's growing. It's not a happy bunny, it never has been since I got it, and yet when I got it, it looked quite a healthy plant, or I wouldn't have got it. I got it at our auction, so I would have got that back in June. It's never really grown well, but that's just one. The others are doing great. I mean, if I, just put that down, if I hold just the two that are on the front of the staging next to each other, just as an example, it's just the drip tray dropped off. If you have a look at that, that's not a bad plant. You know, as Masdevallias go, that's a nice plant. That's not. Look at the number of yellow leaves. Now there's loads of new growths coming out from the base, but it's dropping leaves faster than it's growing new growths. Now that got potted up with new media when I got it, so it's not the media's all old and stale. Yeah, they're in the same conditions. That one's a primary cross, that one's celestial stripes. I don't know what component parts that this is made up of, but that's a two species primary cross. With a drip tray on the floor, which means I've got to bend down now. Thank you. Whereas the other one just stayed on the shelf. But yeah, so I've got some Masdevallias doing very well, thank you very much, but one isn't. Two aren't, in fact, because my Ignea is down to 3 leaves. That's not growing very well at all, but it has got a new leaf starting. They just seem to take a while to really establish and adapt to the environment, and some do it quicker than others. That probably applies to all orchids. But those that are a bit more sensitive to the environment can take longer, you know, so that's that. What else? There's nothing much else. How's this? How are we doing on time? Waffling on for ages here. Getting somewhere near it. I mean, it's been said by many people over many eons that the Sunday chat, being a long video, is actually enjoyed because it's a long video. There seems to be quite a few people use it like as background noise when they're watering their orchids. Yeah, thanks for that. All I like is that somebody is appreciating that the video's there, and even if you don't watch it and you only listen to it, which for this type of video is fair enough, isn't it? I'm only stood here. There's nothing really to see, is there? Hopefully there's something useful to hear now and again, and some things that are perhaps not wanted to be heard. But I will show you this. You've seen it before, but it's opened up a bit better now. This is my Showgirl, this is my genuine miniature, and I've had it a while now, but the spike is opening up now, so you get to see the blooms a bit better. Now this is one that the blooms don't open flat. They tend to stay in a sort of cup shape. So you have to look into them. You have to look into the blooms. And then you see that very, very delicate pink veining on the two petals either side of the lip, which starts down at the base. And if I can get this up in the air somewhere like that, if you look on the underside of the lip, there's some lovely delicate colouring there as well. And then you've got the really nice pattern on the lip itself. So I class these as delicate little beauties. In fact, oh no, I was going to say the patterning on the underside of the lip is actually the pattern on the inside of the lip showing through, but it's not. They are separate little spots. But it's a delicate bloom. It's not big and blousy and shouty loud like some of the Cymbidiums. It's a delicate little bloom. And the size of the spike for the size of the plant this year is pretty good stuff. But then it's probably had a bit of extra oomph because it didn't bloom last year. Certainly the bulb that it produced this year is way bigger than anything it's done before. But I am growing on a plant from a seedling. You know, the oldest bulbs were obviously seedling bulbs, all not far off. So we're gradually getting up to the potential of the full-size bulb. So, and I'm well pleased with this. It's one of the earliest ones I bought, and I've liked it ever since. And it's certainly put on a good show this time round. So that's good. There's my coffee gone. Right. But, right, well, as it's Sunday, I need to make a big deal out of the thank yous. I haven't got any new members to do shout outs. We had 2 at the last Sunday chat. I had 2 new members then. I've updated the roll call, as I call it, on the end. That wasn't my idea. That was a viewer's idea, you know. I mean, I did it as a cinematic thing, you know, so the names scroll up. It's in the Star Wars vein, you know, the text gets... If you don't read quick enough, it gets so small you can't read it if you're not quick. But anyway, you know, the members all get a shout at the end of the video. And thanks for being members. Anybody else who wants to join that throng, little group I'll call it, because it's not a huge number of people, but nonetheless it's appreciated. You'd be surprised the difference that makes on a month-by-month basis. So thanks for being YouTube members, and thanks for the people who went over the Patreon site and became members over there. I've had a couple drop out over there, which is fair enough, you know. I mean, times are hard for many people, and you know, things change. What you may have thought was worth supporting, you may not now think. If that's how it is, then so be it. I can't make people stay. All I can do is what I do. I can't see any dramatic changes to the channel doing any good in that direction, if you see what I mean. So I'm quite happy, and I'm sure a lot of you are, for me to carry on doing what I do. Nonetheless, the membership's important to me. So thanks for being members in either of those 2 places. Somebody bought me a load of coffees over the Christmas period, and that was, I've always thought of the buy me a coffee as like a tip for perhaps a special video that was useful or something like that. Well, this was a tip for the year. It was thanks for the year, thanks for the videos over this period and the information and everything. So yeah, like a tip for the videos for the year. So thanks for that. And obviously the bottom line is that people are prepared to watch the videos and do the thumbs up, hopefully subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and leave a comment. Those basic little things, the thumbs up, subscribe and leave a comment, cost nothing apart from some of your time. Quite honestly, if you're still here at the end of this load of waffle, then you've got time to spare, haven't you? Or you're prepared to use some of your spare time for my videos, and for that, thank you very much. Yes, so I have no major plans to change the channel in any great way. The only thing I am going to go back to, because although the theory was sound at first, when I watch some of the older videos, I find it nice that there was a little introduction at the front, a little start to each video that was consistent, a little piece of music, a few words, that sort of thing. I mean, I don't know what you think, but from advice from these people on YouTube that do videos about how to make videos and how to do the best on YouTube, they said that introductions are a bit of a waste of time, because they will often, because people apparently have got very short attention spans nowadays, especially the younger people, if there's a long introduction to a video, they're gone before it gets to the video. He's got such short attention spans. It's like the goldfish in the bowl, you know, swimming around talking to his mate. Look at that castle. What's a castle? I don't know. Why'd you ask? Ask what? Yes. So I stopped. You know, my normal videos, this one's got the original introduction on it. It was left on specifically so that the Sunday chat was different. Yeah? But there always used to be a little clip at the beginning that was consistent. It was the same for each video. And it meant that you could recognise my videos instantaneously. Now that's not true anymore because my thumbnails that I use are different for every video. They've got consistent writing on them, which is the yellow with the red border, and my Rogers Orchids logo, you know, they do have that, but they're in different places and obviously saying different things, and there's no mention of the channel name. So I've lost some things that used to be there and did things differently. I wonder what you think about going back to a totally brand new start. You know, we'll have a new start completely. I'll have a good think about it. Perhaps I could do several and then put them together in a video and you could vote on them. Perhaps we'll do that. That'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? So I do several starts that will become the start to all the videos except this one, which stays as it is, and you can vote on them. Give me something to do on these cold, dark days, won't it? Beats washing the car, that's for sure, because that means going out in the cold. Yeah, so perhaps we do that for a bit of fun. But in the meantime, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching the videos. Don't forget, as I don't make a big deal out of it, but the money on YouTube only changes hands in a couple of ways. One of them is premium membership to YouTube, not to my channel, that's to YouTube in total. You become a premium member of YouTube, you don't see any adverts ever again. Doesn't matter what you're doing on YouTube, no ads. It's brilliant. It really is brilliant. And the money you pay to YouTube for that privilege, a share of that goes to all of the creators that are in the monetization program. So you're not depriving the creators of some income by going down that road. And certainly if you watch a lot of music clips and things like that, you really ought to think about going down that road, because YouTube are getting pretty hot on detecting ad blockers, and they'll drop your channel and then you lose your channel. Now you might not care because you just start a new one, but you know, it's worth thinking about. But that is the legitimate way to lose the adverts, is, yeah. But that makes no difference to me and my channel, no difference at all, apart from the fact that a contribution will come my way because I'm a monetized channel. And basically it is down to the adverts. The adverts need to be watched for anybody to get anything at all. So it's important to watch a portion of the adverts, if not all of them. I think the rules, which may have changed, were that if an advert is less than 30 seconds long, it needs to be watched. Yeah, not a portion of it, it needs to be it needs to be allowed to play through. You don't have to sit there and watch it. Most of them don't want to watch it. Most of us don't want to watch them. You know, that's how YouTube make their money. So, you know, without that, there would be no YouTube. It goes round in a big circle. But yeah, the ads need to be watched. But the short ads need to be watched. The longer ads, longer than 30 seconds, a proportion of them needs to be watched before you skip out. Now I know some ads you can't skip out. You just got to let them play. But that's YouTube's choice. Yeah. So, and I mean, YouTube even override the settings. You know, if you're relatively new to YouTube, you've got a relatively small channel and you haven't monetized your channel, when people are watching it, they'll suddenly get an ad stuck in front of them. Even though you haven't said, I'm allowing ads, YouTube just override and put an ad in there anyway. They don't do it too much because obviously on the smaller channels the views aren't there. YouTube don't make much money, which is why they don't take much notice of the smaller channels, except the new hype, that new function that they've given us smaller channels. But yeah, please don't forget those. If you've got a mobile phone with the mobile app, make sure it's the latest version, update it if you haven't done it for a while. And then you've got this hype function which gives a point, allocates points to a specific video that you would like to help promote. So you've got YouTube promoting the ones it chooses, but you can influence those choices excuse me, by using this hype function. And basically it allocates points. You get 3 a week. I think they renew at midnight on Sunday, so Monday morning frog in my throat. Monday morning when you get up, you'll effectively have 3 new ones. You can put them all on the same video if you want. You can put them on 3 different videos. You can put them on 3 different videos on 3 different channels. Or you can, like I say, you can put them all on one channel. It's up to you how you use them. It's up to you to choose which channels and which videos you'd like to give a little help to. Because that's what you're doing, actually helping promote a video. And YouTube have done it for what they call the smaller channels, which is for channels with less than 500,000 subscribers. That's a small channel to YouTube. You can see how their mind works, can't you? So anybody in that group of videos, they're not going to spend a huge amount of attention on, are they? Because they think, you're small channels. You don't earn us that much money. So that's how their mind works. But they've given us viewers, because I'm a viewer as well, don't forget, as a creator, a helping hand to help promote some of the smaller channels. And that's good, because you don't normally get anything good out of YouTube that's free, which this is. And if you haven't found it yet, and you haven't used it, and you don't know what the hell I'm on about, mobile phone, YouTube app, updated, latest version. When you go to watch a video, if you've got your phone upright, the video's in the top bit, and immediately below it is the space where you would type your comment. You swipe that left, and the hype will appear. And it'll tell you how many points you're about to allocate, and then you can allocate those points. And then you can get out of there and come back in and do it again if you want, until you've used your 3. You get 3 goes. And I think it's nice that YouTube have done something for the smaller channels. Because obviously they're hoping they become bigger channels and they earn more money out of them. It's all about that. All about that. Which is why most people start a business in the first place. That's what it's about. You don't run a business for nothing, for pleasure. And if you run a business that's pleasurable as well, then you've started a good business, because you're enjoying life at work. Almost makes it not work, doesn't it? But, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my consultancy work that I did. Loads of driving, getting to see lots of parts of the country, getting paid for it while I was driving on my full hourly rate, contractor's rate. I was getting a lot of money in those days. Boy, could I use that now. But that world died. The world of the freelance consultants all died out, basically. I doubt if you could find one now if you tried. But I took part in it while it was very active. Now, I'm going to end on a joke that is for English people, because if you're not English, you're not going to get this. And I'll admire anyone that's not English or hasn't been to England that can get it. So, I thought it was highly funny. My son thought it was absolutely hilarious. But I got it off YouTube, I forget which comedian it was. But you have to have travelled around the country in England or watched videos from different people in different parts of the country to realise that England has got a lot of regional accents, and some of them are quite strong and can be difficult to understand in some cases, depending on how adaptable you are at listening. But there's a lot of it around. And that's what this is based on. Which is why it's it's for English people. If you're not English, you're probably just not going to get it. Anyway, what's the difference between a tortoise and a turtle? Now, a tortoise is a scaly vegetarian creature that spends its whole life on the land in a hard shell. Whereas a turtle is what your bills add up to if you come from Hull. See you next time. I thought it was funny.